Assalamu alaikum students and welcome to MLS Online Virtual Classroom. Today is going to be lesson number 7 and which is covering page number 17 of Oxford Discover 6. So let's begin. Students, today the very first thing we're going to learn is a mind map. What is a mind map? How do we draw a mind map? And how to extract information from that mind map. You must have already drawn or learnt or even studied a mind map. So what is a mind map? Mind map is a pictorial representation of text. So you basically convert a piece of writing or any text into picture form with the help of few lines and a few shapes like a cloud shape or any other shape that you like. So a mind map is a picture or a map of the text. It can help you understand what you are reading and see how information is grouped. So a mind map not just shows you information, it also shows you the relationship of the information and how one information leads to another information. So it also shows you the series or the sequence of information. For example, if I have a main idea at the center of the mind map, in the center of mind map, and I have drawn a line and written some another information with connected to it, and then I have written a third information and connected it to the second information. So it shows from one to second to third how information is connected and shows the relationship of it. Hence this is a very easy idea and it's a very time saving and easy to understand idea of changing a text into picture form. So what it says write the main idea at the center of your map, write related ideas around the main idea and use lines to connect them. Then write more ideas around each of those. Alright. It says use a mind map to create creative connections between ideas. Let's see how do we do that. Read the paragraph and make a mind map, then answer the questions. The paragraph is about bridges and tunnels. So this paragraph tells you that bridges and tunnels allows many kind of transportation across it, and then there are advantages and disadvantages of each of the transport method. And let's start it. Bridges and tunnels allow us to use many types of transportation to get from place to place. There are advantages and disadvantages of each type. For instance means for example, some kind of transportation costs more than others. It costs a lot of money to operate a train, but it costs very little to walk or ride a bike. Cars cost a lot of money to run too, because gas is so expensive. We also need to consider how many people can be transported at the same time. Buses and trains can carry more people than motorcycles and cars, so that makes them more efficient. Alright, it says that the advantages and disadvantages of anything, or in such manner we have to see whether it's costly or how costly it is and how many people can be transported at the same time. So let's see. We have to draw a mind map now and then answer the questions afterwards. Now I'm having my own example for you guys. I've drawn a mind map and I'm sharing it with you, but I suggest that you draw your own mind map so that your brainstorming can be initiated, or that ideas can be triggered in your mind. Alright, you can have the example from this. So I have written bridges and tunnels allowing many types of transport in the center. This is the main idea of my mind map. Then I have trains connected to it. So one of the type of transport is a train. Let's see what the pros and cons of trains are. The very first thing, it is costly and expensive. So this is a disadvantage. How is it costly? Because for train to operate we have to make the railway, the rail, the train, and the track that the rail has to go on, and then we have to purchase or manufacture the train actually. Then we have to run it on any kind of fuel, so that is also expensive. The second point is it is efficient. How is it efficient? Because it transports many people at the same time. Yes, you're right. Passenger trains can transport many people at the same time, so it makes them efficient. The second transport is cars, and cars cannot transport many people at the same time. Obviously, you know that cars have the capacity of either 4 to 5 people if it's a two-seater car, or 7 people if it's a three-seater car. So they cannot transport many people at the same time. If we are relating it to trains or comparing it with trains. The second thing is it is costly as well. Why is it costly? Due to gas expense. Alright, cars can be costly to purchase as well and to run as well. The third is bike or by foot. Alright, we can go through or use tunnels and bridges either by bike, motorcycle, bicycle, or by foot, and it is efficient as well as it has no or little expense. So students, this was my mind map that I created. Now you can make your own mind map and have different ideas around it. Moving on, we have the very first question. What did you put at the center of your mind map? Now I know what I have put in the center of my mind map. If you're drawing your own, you can answer it accordingly. Bridges and tunnels allowing many types of transport. So I have made this as a central idea. The second thing is, students, you have to copy these in on your loose sheets, the mind map as well as the question answers. If you're making your own, make your own, and if you want to copy this, you can copy this as well. The second question is, what groups of ideas did you connect to the main idea? Alright, I have connected advantages and disadvantages to the main idea. The third being, did any of the connections you made surprise you, and why? Well, for me it was very fascinating and surprising to know that if we travel by foot or by bike, for example, if it's a motorcycle or a bicycle, it is very efficient and convenient as well as cost effective as well of all the modes of transport that we studied. So my answer is, one of the most cost effective and efficient way is to travel by walk or bike because it costs very little and has no other disadvantage. Alright students, the next activity is words in context. As we read the explanatory text upcoming, we need to guess the meanings of the following. Alright, so on page number we have 18 and 19, we have an explanatory text upcoming. What is an explanatory text? Explanatory text means a piece of writing that has facts and figures and that explains things. Instead of a fictional thing, it is a real thing which is being written and which has facts and figures in it, which is on page number 18 and 19. So before that, here are some words that we must know beforehand. Factors. The very first word is factors. And what are factors? Factors are the things that influence a decision or a situation. For example, if I say one of the factors or one of the reasons, one of the factors that I bought a cat as a pet was because it's clean. So buying a cat because of its hygiene and cleanliness is one of the factor which influenced your decision, which made you decide about it. So it is a factor, deciding factor. The second is suspension. Obviously, you know by now what a suspension bridge is, so you will be able to guess the meaning of it as well. Suspension is something when something is being hung from another thing. When we say a suspension bridge, so it is being suspended from the cables that are above it. The state of being hung from steel cables that are supported by towers at each end. Definitely, when a bridge is being constructed, it has towers on both sides, and in between it has a cable, an array of suspension cables, which is supporting the bridge, and we say the bridge is suspended with the help of steel cables, which means it is hung. The third is stacks. Now students, you have you might have heard this or even used this word. Stack means when we put something on top of each other. When we have three boxes and we put the first one on top of the other and then the third one on top of the second one, we have a stack of three boxes. Similarly, it's a neat pile of things. We can stack books, boxes, shoe boxes. You might have done that yourself as well. The other word is aqueducts. Aqueducts are structures like bridges for carrying water across a valley or low ground. So if we say that we want to carry or transport or to give some water from a reservoir to a locality or to a field, we can construct an aqueduct, which is like a bridge which carries the water from one place to another. The second last word is commonly. Commonly means usually or in common or often. And the last word is load bearing. What does load bearing means? Supporting most of the weight of parts of a building or other structure. What this means is, if I have to say that the load bearing part of this room is the pillars, which means the pillars are carrying the weight of the roof. Alright, so something which carries the load, that carries the weight of some other thing, it is called load bearing. So it supports the weight. So if I can say the load bearing part of this room is the pillars, which means the pillars are carrying the weight of the roof. Understood? Now you have to copy these on your loose sheets and make creative sentences yourself. This is a homework. The next is preview. Preview of what? Preview of the text Overcoming Earth's Obstacles. Now this passage is coming on page 18 and page 19, and I've told you earlier that this is an explanatory text, which means it has facts and figures and some history regarding the Earth's obstacles and how bridges and tunnels may helped us into overcoming them. In the coming explanatory text, you'll find about different types of bridges and why a tunnel is sometimes better than a bridge. Explanatory texts tell us why things happen and how they work. After you read, make a mind map of the ideas in the text. So this was a preview of the next lesson that we're going to have, and it will be a long lesson because it has a great passage upcoming which has discussed Earth's obstacles and how bridges and tunnels help us to overcome that. So students, that was the end of lesson number 7. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to do your homework. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.